So there's a lot of misinformation and just like a lot of questions about the psychiatric hospital. So I've decided to make a video about the subject because I know that a lot of people don't really know what's going on, and a lot of people, even people that like are going to be admitted into a psychiatric hospital, are a bit confused. And I've gone to the psychiatric hospital 5 times and I still have my bans from all of them except for one. And it is something to note that I only went to psychiatric hospitals in the Houston area, and as well I've only been to the adolescent section, because there are other sections of a psychiatric hospital. There is the child section, the adolescent section, and there are adult sections, and they are kept very strictly away from each other for safety purposes. Something that you should know is not a standard hospital like another hospital that you would have. You are going to have a very strict schedule, and while it might not be like exact, but you are going to be doing these certain things and how they're going to be done, etc., etc. So admission is something that you're not gonna like. I didn't like it, no one likes it. It will take hours, and when I say hours, I really truly do mean that it is going to take hours. You're going to have to be filling out a number of forms. They're going to be handing you papers and information about the hospital, such as different rules about it, like no electronics, no certain types of clothing, and those type of things. It's gonna be awful. They're going to be undressing you, and they'll be taking notes of any scars or anything, and notably self-harm scars, because they just want to know what, like, they just take note of everything. They'll ask you what drugs you're on, if you're on any medication, if you've smoked weed, whatever, any drugs, blah blah blah. And it's really the best that you are honest with them. They truly are asking if you're on drugs to know if medications that they put you on are going to have bad reactions. It is for your safety. They're going to take a picture of you for your band, and as well as other places. They'll be putting pictures on like your binder case thing. You're gonna have a binder with your certain case on it, and also on your medication, your face will also be on it. And don't worry about the picture. Everyone's picture looks not the best. And at admission, you're going to be staying on the unit for a while, and what that means is you're only going to be able to go into the day room and your own room, and that's pretty much it. Okay, so you're going to be having a band that you have to wear at all times. If you aren't wearing a band, then they will give you another one. So your band is going to contain your birthday, your name, your day of admission, who your doctor is, your room number, your sex, which is the sex that you wrote on the papers, and it can indicate different things, such as if you have allergies or if you're allowed to have double portions. The band color, or what it says, determines whether or not you can leave the unit or if you cannot. At some places it also does mean if you're acting up or if you're misbehaving or that type of thing. There are different technicians there, and they are going to be monitoring everything that you do, and they will be writing down everything that you do. So be prepared for that. They are there to help you, so be sure to like voice out anything that you're thinking, or like if you're not safe, just anything that you need. You should go to the techs. There is going to be a nurse station where there are going to be a lot of the things that you want to get, and they do not want you to really talk to the nurses, but rather more to the technicians, because the technicians are there for you, while the nurses are there for medical reasons. So there is a very strict schedule that you're going to be having. You're going to be waking up at like 6, 7 a.m. and you're not going to enjoy it. No one's going to enjoy it, and they'll be taking your vitals every morning when they wake you up. Basically, they'll take your blood pressure, your heart rate, all those sort of things. And you are going to be sharing a room with someone else unless there are certain circumstances as to why you cannot. So every day whenever you wake up, you are going to be going through a group It's not really therapeutic or anything. It's really just going around and talking about typical day-to-day stuff. I'm gonna ask you how you feel on 1 to 10, 1 being the worst, 10 being the best that you've ever had. Like, you're jumping for joy, blah blah blah. You're gonna hear that every single day, and it's probably gonna get tiring, but they're gonna ask you that. They're gonna ask you what your goal of the day is, and that's pretty much it in the morning. And they'll also go by the rules. And the rules really do depend on the hospital, but the general rules are to clean up after yourself, don't touch other people, mind your own business, don't do certain things. It really does depend on your hospital. And the goal of the day that you're going to be having, it can't be something vague. It has to be something very specific. Well, not very, very specific, but it has to be specific. Like, okay, you can't say, my goal for today is to be discharged, to leave, to talk to my doctor, because those are things that, like, you're already going to be doing, and things that you're just supposed to be doing those things, so it's not really a goal. For example, something that a goal would be that you learn a new coping mechanism, or you practice a new coping mechanism, or you voice out your feelings more. I don't know, something that pertains to you that's better. Sometimes, honestly, it's kind of hard to, like, pick up on the spot what to do. There are going to be different therapy groups, and these therapy groups will contain things such as talking about why you're there, different coping skills, and how to communicate with others to make sure. Just all sorts of things. Some things are not going to be very specific towards your certain reason as to why you're in the hospital, and so you might feel kind of like out of touch at sometimes. A lot of the therapy is based around suicidal thoughts, depressive episodes, and those sort of things. People with schizophrenia or bipolar disorder might have a little bit of a weirder time there, because a lot of people are in the hospital because of suicidal tendencies, and not everyone there is there for suicidal thoughts or suicidal attempts. It's gonna be kind of weird. Not everything is gonna be about your certain case. It's gonna be shared with everyone, so just be prepared for that. And if you're uncomfortable with sharing anything, then they definitely understand that, or at least they should. Sometimes they don't, but it is for your best to actually talk and communicate with everyone, and just communicate, use the therapy as much as possible. There are also recreational therapies where you can paint, do sports, go swimming, stuff like that. There's also yoga. There are like a number of different things that you can do during recreational therapy, and they're going to be scheduled for you, so you cannot choose whether or not you're going to be painting that day. It does depend on what hospital you go to and what the day is and what tech you have. You might go like outside and be like throwing balls or whatever, but if you don't want to do that, then you can like stay inside and go color or whatever. It really does depend on the hospital that you go to. So there's going to be a day room, and it's pretty much the place that you're going to be spending like the majority of your time there at the hospital in. And there's not really a lot of things you can do there, honestly. There's a lot of things that you cannot take in the hospital. So you cannot take your phone, you can't take your 3DS, you can't take PS4. There are limited things that you can take to the hospital, and it really does depend on the hospital. So there are going to be different things provided. Some things you can do in the day room are like board games, coloring, writing, and reading. Those are the main things. They should be providing color pencils, maybe. Most likely not. They might. It depends on the hospital. But they will most likely be providing crayons, markers, coloring pages, and golf pencils. And board games like Life, Uno. Also, playing cards. Playing cards is a big thing, like, in the day room. You're definitely going to want to be playing cards, because there really isn't anything for you to do other than talk to people. Yeah, there's not really much to do, to be honest. Like, you're going to get bored pretty quickly in there. Like, I'm be real. In the day room, they may or may not have a TV or music playing. It really does depend on the hospital and the behavior of the patients themselves, because if people mess around, then there probably isn't gonna be much to do. But they may play music, might watch movies, any sort of stuff, but everything has to be like PG or G, because some people aren't allowed to see certain things or they don't want to, so they gotta keep it all PG. So the cafeteria, it kind of sucks. No one likes cafeteria or hospital food. No one likes that stuff. It's just okay, I guess. So whenever I first started becoming vegan, I was in a psych hospital. So I had to like depend on them to make sure that my diet was completely vegan, and they're not exactly the best about that. So you aren't gonna be able to share with people, or at least not officially. You're not supposed to share with people. You're gonna get in trouble for it most likely if you do. You get limited portions, like you can't go back for seconds, or you can't get like 2 desserts, you can't get like 2 full meals unless your doctor does approve for double portions or just more food. The drinks that you're going to be having, you really can only have cold tea, soda, and water. That's really it. Boys and girls will be sitting separately from each other, and you're going to have to ask to get up. So there are going to be snacks throughout the day, and that can include like fruit, cereal, goldfish, typically off-brand things, because you know, brand things are expensive. And you can get 1 drink, and this may be like water, juice, or milk. Those are throughout the day, and you have limited snacks and drinks, so be sure if you're thirsty or you're hungry, you get thirsty often, to really take advantage of getting snacks. I would recommend getting water every single time at the very least. So visitation is kind of weird because you can only have people and visitors that are 18 and up, and you might only be able to have 2 visitors at a time. You might have a visitor limit. It does depend on the hospital, as I said before. Your visitors cannot bring anything in with them, so they have to leave their phone and other things, keys, whatever, in a locker that they will provide. Visitors have to have your patient number, otherwise they cannot come in. You also have to have your legal guardian, or the person that admitted you into the hospital. That person has to approve of who gets to visit you and who can and cannot. So communicating with the outside world is very limited. Like when I mean very, I mean very limited. It has to be during the time slot you are given for being able to call someone on the phone. Or if it is an emergency, then you are able to call them. It really does depend on the hospital. Your call list has to be approved by the person who admitted you, so your legal guardian or whoever helped admit you into the hospital. They all have to be approved by them, so they have to have a signature and everything. You have a limited time for calling someone, and your call time will be monitored at all times, and a tech is going to be listening in, so you do not have private conversations. So you're gonna have to leave anything out, like drugs and sex and inappropriate things out, otherwise the tech will force you to hang up. Be sure to tell anyone that you want to call that you're gonna call them, because the numbers are going to be different, and they are gonna be at different numbers sometimes. The numbers may vary because of safety situations and such, so just be aware of that. Be sure to tell people that you're gonna call them, otherwise people might not pick up or whatever. And in order for people to call you on the phone, they're going to have to call the hospital, and they have to have your patient number, otherwise they cannot contact you. So you're going to be assigned a psychiatrist at the hospital, and to be honest, some of them are going to be bad. Like, I'm not gonna lie, there are a number of psychiatrists that just aren't good at the hospitals, and they just aren't good. So you're gonna meet every day with your psychiatrist. Your psychiatrist is gonna ask you the same things: how you're feeling, scale 1 to 10, blah 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 blah. They have all sorts of paperwork. They are going to be seeing everything that you're doing, everything that's written down about you, so they can see what your behavior is like and such. If your coping mechanisms are like going well, if you are safe, if you feel like you're ready to do this or that or this. They control your medication, and they should explain what your medication does and how often you should take it, blah blah blah. They also control if you get discharged. So the real people that you want to impress are your psychiatrist. So to be discharged, there are a number of things that you have to accomplish, I guess you could say. You have to be able to ensure your safety. You have to know what your medications do, what they're called, and how often to take them. You have to know where to go to if you ever have like any suicidal tendencies or just you don't know what to do. Know any support groups or any numbers that you can call. You have to have a number of coping mechanisms that you know works for you. So hygiene. Hygiene is very important because not only are you in a hospital, but also they monitor that. They will write down if you've taken a shower, if you washed your hair, if you're changing your clothes, if you're washing your clothes. All that sort of fun stuff. So every single day you're gonna have to take a shower. Or not, I don't know, it depends on the hospital, but every single one I've gone to, you're gonna have to take a shower every single day. And I know, it sucks, because you, like, a lot of the time, they want you to wash your hair every day, but it's just not healthy. So for anything that you bring, you are going to want to bring things, trust me. But if you do bring things, you're gonna want to make sure that they are travel size. Some hospitals may take things that are not travel size, but just to be safe, travel size. You cannot have alcohol in any of your hygiene products, otherwise they're not going to take it and they're going to send it back. You cannot share clothes, and for good reason. Just don't share clothes, like really genuinely don't, like please, because people can take your clothes. You have to sign off on whether or not, if you have all your clothes at the end. You gotta keep your room clean. Keep it clean, otherwise you might not get discharged. You're gonna get in trouble for it. Just do everything that they tell you for hygiene, even if you don't want to do it. You have to make your bed every morning, so be mindful of that. You are gonna want to bring a brush, shampoo, conditioner, soap, toothbrush, and toothpaste. And I say that you want to bring your own because at the hospital they do provide them for you, but trust me, they're not good. You don't want to do that. Your brushes are awful, they're disposable, they're just not good. Especially if you have long hair like me. No. So the clothing that you can have is very limited. I highly, highly recommend a sweatshirt, comfortable pants, shoes, and socks. Those are the 4 that you're really gonna want to have. Anything else? Nah. Be sure to dress warmly because hospitals are cold, so you're gonna get cold. Dress comfortably. If you wear bras, don't bring bras with wire in them because they are going to be cut out. Bring sports bras, or you could just not wear a bra. Whatever you want. Do not take your favorites. People do steal at the hospital, believe it or not, people do steal. So don't take any of your favorites. You can't have any tight clothing, so if there's any tight clothing, then you're going to be required to take that off, or it's going to be sent back. Be sure to not have any metal or zippers or strings, anything like that. Otherwise they are going to take it out or they'll send it back. You're going to want to bring socks, hair ties if you have long hair like me, warm clothing, and comfortable shoes. And you're not going to be able to have any jewelry on, so if you have facial piercings, you will be required to take those out. Also, you're not going to have makeup in there, and if they do allow you to have makeup, then it's going to be very minimal. And don't take thongs or G-strings. They're not going to allow that. If there are any strings, and places that would have strings would be like hoodies, sweatshirts, pants, really comfortable pants, those are gonna have strings. So you should either take the ones that have strings and put them aside, or you can have them remove the strings if you really want that article of clothing, which I would not recommend. That does also include your shoes. So if you have strings in your shoes, you're gonna take that out too. So bring slippers. Just be sure to bring comfortable shoes. Bring socks. Definitely bring a lot of socks because you're not gonna want to be barefoot around the unit. Well, it's kind of gross because it's a hospital floor. You don't want to be barefoot on a hospital floor. So bring plenty of socks. And in some hospitals, your clothing is going to be limited, so you're gonna be pretty much recycling the same thing, like the same outfits of every 2 days or every day, whatever it is. If they don't approve of any clothing that you have, then they will give you a beautiful hospital gown, and they should also provide you with socks that you can use to walk around the unit with. Sometimes they're out of socks, but they shouldn't ever be out of hospital gowns, so So things that you're going to want to be bringing with you are cards, like playing cards, a journal. Even if you don't journal, books. You can like take 1 or 2 books I would recommend. Don't take like a library of books. You're not gonna read all those things, most likely. Pictures of anything that you'd like. So like pictures of your family, your pets, someone important to you, whatever. It should allow you to have pictures in there. Markers and crayons or color pencils. So you're gonna make friends in there, or you probably are gonna make friends in there. People are going to be like constantly asking you, how old are you? Why are you here? What's your name? Those 3 main questions. So you're gonna wanna have to like memorize and be comfortable with saying it, or be comfortable with saying no. Don't talk to me. Either or, you know, you gotta be comfortable with either like warding off people or being like, okay, yeah, here's this and this. So rules are, for having friends, no touching. You can't touch people, just don't touch people. You cannot exchange contact information. They really ingrain this into you. So like your phone number, Snapchat, Facebook, Instagram, whatever it is, it's not allowed, it's banned. People can get honestly really catty in the hospital and really dramatic, so try to stay out of that. Don't get on anyone's bad side. It's just for the best. So the girls and boys are going to be separated. So if you're a girl, you're only going to be with girls. And if you're a boy, then you're only going to be with boys. And what determines what side you're on is what gender or sex you put on the paper. So in some places you literally cannot even look at the boys, like looking at boys is illegal. Don't have crushes on people. You're probably not gonna see these people ever again, so just don't have crushes on people. Just don't do it. You are gonna make friends, and I do still talk to people that I've met in the hospital, and they are really kind people, and I'm pretty sure that's it. So if I have forgotten anything, then I'll be sure to put it in the description box. If there's anything that you want to specifically know, or if you have any specific questions, you can always message me. If you're comfortable with leaving a comment on this video, you are more than welcome to, and I'll be sure to get back to you. If there's anything in specific that you want answered, then I will be putting the questions and lists and sort in the description box. So anything you need is there. Always feel free to message me. Whether you just need someone to talk to, if you have any questions about the hospital, anything that pertains to that, my messages are always open. I wish you guys the best, and I hope this video has been informational for anyone, even if you don't have a mental illness, just like, you know, to defeat the stigma. So that's it for this video, and thank you for watching, and I really hope the best for everyone. Bye!